Heavenly Father, who took his own life on Monday the 28th after receiving stands, one nation, under God. So that year, June 16th, 2001, riding horses, hunting, fishing, and doing anything outdoors. He was a big history. Gabrielle, Xander, Emmett, Olivia, and Asher, all of Pleasant Valley. So, come on in, welcome. Marcus Malley, Kenneth Harrelson, Mahila Pryor, Lucas Denny, William Norwood, Samuel Lee, and he's still unable to. So there's other news going on right now with the Proud Boy trials, etc.
Two of them got sentenced.
Do not know.
Or the Capitol kind of thing. That's what they're trying to do.
That many people, you didn't even need weapons.
Kids, I don't understand how, I don't know what I think that this
Far exceeds what's being
I know. Really
for
funny.
research.
You can get any answer you want on the internet.
A library
Burning buildings, attacking police,
killing
attacking
people.
citizens.
There's a guy up there in Chicago, an old man. He was blind. He's a beggar, a black man.
None of my sons or my brothers talk to me.
Our whole family has been split.
My
Boom.
whole family doesn't talk to me.
Me and my mom are the only ones that have
I
a
don't
brain.
have a mom
The
or
rest
dad.
are brain dead.
All
So,
my family, I
on
don't have anybody that
On
talks to me.
on that
It's
point,
really sad. Not even on my birthday, not even no birthday wishes, nothing.
one of the things I've
It's their
observed
loss. It's their loss.
is that you can't convert friends and family, but somebody they don't know can.
That's true.
I saw some people online a year or two ago, and they were talking about how all of a sudden one of them bought an Alexa, brought it into the house, and friend comes over and they're trying to tell them what's going on in the world, and they wouldn't believe this person. So this person says, Alexa, and asks the question. Alexa, it's at somebody else. I'm serious as a heart attack. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it seems to be working. Danger for someone else.
Yes. And over, and you can see it's one loop, and all those people, how anyone could be convinced that there was an insurrection. And I don't get it.
Neo would agree with you.
What? But meanwhile,
Well, we need to be supportive.
If we can't even communicate.
A lot more effort, but and we don't even know where they are, because you know where they are on Wednesday. And so apparently
to intentionally interfere with their right.
one of the things that our enemies constitutional and illegal, because they know it takes time. And then they'll change the song and wait for the time that it gets to the Supreme Court. Long cycle game. I'm going to sit there and put out this edict, this mandate today that I know that is wrong because I'm evil, I'm a dick. But I'm going to do this thing, and I know that I can get at least 9 months. Right, and by the time that 9 months goes, they've got 5 new chaplains ready to go. And that's what they're doing. And here's the really hard part. They're trying to pick a fight. Because if they can get the fight to start...
Right to the horse.
Exactly.
Right to the head,
Because,
and take out... What do you think they're going to do next? You think they're nice, law-abiding citizens? A law-abiding citizen, unless they're suffering or running for their life, is not going to try and force their way into someone else's country. They're just not.
Nothing's going on in this world. Everything's perfect.
Tell
yeah,
them
what's
the
so
people
perfect
overrun.
about 2023 when you compare it to like 1989? Oh, you weren't alive in 1989, so you don't have the ability to see what's wrong. You were taught rainbows and unicorns.
That's true.
And you were taught that cutting off your genitals affirms your
belief system. That's right.
You got to cut it off to affirm it.
I really wasn't born a boy. good.
So we've got one of, and there's, to me,
Got bug spray if anybody needs it.
and this is just my own thought processes, but to me we've got two primary problems, and everything else falls behind them.
Okay.
We've got the egregious corruption that resulted in a bunch of prisoners being wrongfully detained on January 6th. On the other side, we've got the corruption that's happening in our education system. So let's talk about that for just a second.
Who's the puppeteer? Who's pulling the strings here? There's a puppeteer to all this because it's not we the people.
There is, and I believe that there's just one person, but I can't identify him. That's on purpose. Nobody knows who that is. There's a lot of people that and I'm digressing here, but there's a lot of people that go, oh, it's George Soros.
It's the wealthiest people in the world, and it's top.
It's. I think the last name is probably Rothschild, not Klaus Schwab, not
the ones you would
Those
think.
are all flunkies. It's somebody that can't afford to be identified. It's somebody that can absolutely not afford to be identified. So, and that's why I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you can name what you think is the top of the chain, that's not the one. It's somebody you don't know.
They'll start breaking the links in the chain. That's all I know.
Well, and that's
to the
true.
top of the chain.
You can't expect that just going for the head. And there's probably, I think that there's probably a total of 7 of them. It's not just one individual. There's like 7 of them. I got a fairly good grasp of where they come from, but they're not publicly known names. I've got a list of names. I'm not going to say them on this, but I've got a list of names, and I've got some back. 85% confident that I'm golden on this list, but you would never ever hear their names, you wouldn't know them. It takes a lot of research.
What is that?
What, research?
That annoys me. Anyway,
So there's so much that's going on, but when you understand that these people figured out that you don't have to own the real estate, you just have to control the real estate. And when you expect residents, they've got a landlord. That landlord has other responsibilities that he passes along to the renters that he's not in control of. Taxes, fees, fuel,
right.
all these things. Well, the people upstream control all of that stuff, and they're controlled by somebody else. So you can get somebody that says, you know, we need to move these people into 15-minute cities. And we got these 15-minute city concept, and we're going to deprive all the people that aren't in the regions that we want to make 15-minute cities. We're going to deprive them of Walmart, drugs, fuel. We're going to screw up their entire world so that they go, my God, I need to move over here so that I can get access to all the things that I need. And lo and behold, the people will voluntarily move to 15-minute cities. That's what they're doing. 15-minute cities. So what's a 15-minute city? A 15-minute city
15 minutes away from anything.
is, yeah. And you can't go beyond it because they're already marked out. And there's like, you know, those fences we do for our dogs?
Oh, geofencing.
They're like geofencing. So, yeah, they've got it all wired out. You can't go beyond that stuff. Your cell phone will stop working. You can't buy anything because
You mean this is their end goal? Is that what you're saying?
that's the end goal, and everything that's working here. So they want to reduce the population to about 500 million worldwide.
Right, and that's why I said, wasn't it Zuckerberg the one that come up with that whole thing that helped with the
No, actually, there was
creation?
this guy named Richard Christian back in 1979 down there in Georgia. They walked into a bank with a suitcase full of cash.
Wow. Greg.
And he told the bank manager, says, got him into a room and says, you never know my name, I'm going to give you this cash, and you're going to do with it exactly what I tell you. And I'm going to keep it secret. I'm going to pay you well for that. That's what happened. So you end up with this thing called the Georgia. It was printed on the Georgia Guidestones before they were blown up, but it's pretty horrendous. It was kind of like Stonehenge on steroids, because each side of the outward-facing stones in different languages had these 10 edicts that were supposed to be
Kind of like the
achieved.
10 Commandments.
As the 10 Commandments. They were talking about how to control the masses, what the size of the population globally had to be in order to do that. All these things.
Oh my goodness, dominance.
It's a huge dominance thing. Well, 3 or 4 months ago, I don't know, maybe as long as 6 months ago, somebody blew them up. Thank God. What a statement that was. But, and it's on video. You can find it out there where somebody blew up the Georgia Guidestones. So there's a lot that goes on, and nobody to this day knows who Richard Christian really was.
So I was trying to find something that I was looking at today.
She's only got
It was an interview by Bob Cooper, I think. Does that name ring a bell? He was a radio. Killed shortly after 9/11.
It does sound familiar.
I can't pull it up with the network connection, but I'll find that and send it to you. But it answers, I think, everything you can find.
Yeah.
As far as the deep state, it goes back all the way to,
It goes back to before Babylon.
well,
I've been studying this for a while, and it does the thing. So you talk about Babylon, which was the center of all finances at the time. Home was infiltrated from within. I mean, they were having all kinds of sexual deviance, just like today.
Yeah.
And they decided to starve the Spartans. That's the food component. And the Spartans revolted. And oh, by the way, when the Spartans revolted, that wasn't the end of the story, because they did and wiped them out. So this isn't a new story. It's played out before. We didn't have the internet way back then, but it's not a new story. Stuff is crazy. And you know, it's interesting because like I said, I've been studying history again, not just in school, but just since I saw the need to say, well, have we done this before?
I need to start researching.
And it's actually fascinating, because the more I find out that yes, we have been here before, the more I can see what's going on now. It's amazing.
So how do we fix it?
It's not pretty.
Well, it's not going to be another flood. You know that.
No, there's the next method on the list.
Well, Maui is under a lot of conspiracy theories that should not have happened.
I was wondering about that personally.
And supposedly the one-way out was blocked. Those that survived went around the blockade. Those that did not, U-turned and went back. And they're the ones that burned in the cars. School was out that day, so a lot of kids were home by themselves. Because that strip is old shops and restaurants and stuff, and it's on the water. So it's one lane in, one lane out.
Never heard about it. It was blocked. I have a contact there. My ex-husband has. I don't know how he did this after we were married. It didn't happen before we were married, which I didn't know about. Oh, before we got divorced. He knows what's going on. Yeah.
did you guys see the note I sent out last night regarding this?
Yeah.
And the follow-up from
As long as it doesn't go to him.
the Meacham family? Their ministry.
And boom, there it was. There's a group of people over there that are doing good work.
No, not quite. so I asked her where to find out, you know, what would she know, and she found that local paper over there that is doing really good work and has published all these different sites.
That was a
2007.
They go and set up hospitals, you know.
But you know, there's one thing. So I've set up a GoFundMe page to support him. And I'm thinking, there's people over there that got bigger needs than any of us. It truly is
We're going to say,
false prophet.
Uh-huh.
where everything is for sale and it's sold.
That's so awesome. Look at that.
I just saw
To model it to
It's
the,
the
to the
least
Yes,
nice
model it
and
to the
Model
camera.
it to the
Come on.
camera because they need to see that. Where do you get that shit?
Yeah, we're doing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then it says sold.
Like Joe, by Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Trader Joe's.
well, everybody's sorry that this
Everything you need.
connection tonight is so unstable, but thank you for being there with us, and hopefully we'll get a call or two.
It's still great. Well, this is off topic, but to me it's not off topic. The vote is what puts these people up there. So if we can't make sure the vote, you don't think that our votes don't really count at all.
They haven't since 1963, November 3rd.
I've often wondered.
No, that was November 3rd of 1963. Just like November 3rd of 2020. That was the day that Kennedy was shot. So, things were going on long before then, but in the more immediate sense, that was kind of the starting date. It's kind of like, you know, they're at the gates, boom! The enemy has been around for a long time, but November 3rd, 1963, when Kennedy was shot. That's because, I say that because it was our own government that at no point between then and now has the people for a long time that tried to rig in Kennedy's favor. Knew that, oh, by the way, the United States, if we're living up to what we say we do, yes,
Just take Ukraine for example.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's wrong.
So Ukraine is at the top of World War II, and for a while there, Russia kind of liked us for it, but then that we were going to send them a bill, and our people, the Treasury Department actually calculated at the time, the Vietnam War, we can identify all those false flags that started those wars. The Merrimack. They knew it. And as soon as that's how Vietnam. But think about it. Why would they do that? Well, there's money. Money is money is money.
Somebody's getting money.
And there's nothing in the world more profitable than war. So usually what happens is our government and the people support all sides of any war, whether it's 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides. They'll support all of them. Because there's just money in it. Defense contractors have contracts in, you'll find out that, for example, BAE Systems, which is British Aerospace, they've got contracts all over the world, and then you start looking at Lockheed Martin and the others, they've got contracts all over the world, so how do they not mix things up and have the ability to manipulate? Oh, by the way, those are all,
No,
so,
I just want to know how to do it.
seriously, stop doing business with Amazon, YouTube, Google, Facebook, all of them.
Well, we are.
We live off of that. Just we got to travel with it.
No, I haven't.
Walmart.
Well, I might as well go build my cabin then.
And make sure you buy your logs from a local.
I'll be cutting down my.
I remember when Amazon was strict. Started it out of his garage. We had Amazon was just
Exactly. We got to move.
so you get a Walmart that says we're going to close down. Walmart. So what you got to do if humans are really good at watching patterns and identifying patterns, and I'm thinking on Walmart, they're not the only one, but you can go up to Fair Oaks and North. Yeah.
Small radius.
It's so slowly that people don't see it happening.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Available to do things with their cars,
That's right.
right? In Reedville,
Where should we
he
put it?
can't get there because his car. Yeah, they're trying to replace voters,
that the
but they're
logo?
also trying to replace the labor force with somebody that's willing to. Anyways, that's a pretty big leap. So you end up with a situation where it's just that somebody gets a case up to the Supreme Court, which is what Trump was talking about. He says all we got to do is enforce the laws we got. We don't need to make.
It takes pictures. I mean, if you're
It's disgusting.
you know, these guys, and it's a two-tier system, but these guys are being.
Not the BLMers and the Antifa people? Well, anything against the BLM. It's a race. I said, you know, I just thought of something. Never had a problem with our different shades of skin. I said, but I walk in amongst you and your friends. Yellow boned, red boned, white skinned, and
Had a good friend, Darlene. That she was talking with white folks.
good riddance. Oh, don't shed a tear over that one. I'm telling you now.
She was getting too much flack from her friends. And her family.
There are a lot of black people speaking out about what's happening to Trump.
Yeah,
They are finally, because none of mine are. They're like, they don't see anything going on. Nothing.
lots of it.
Yeah, the people.
There's a guy that's running, he's from Chesapeake, but he's been on American Family Radio. It's E.W. Bishop. A color that's going on, but they would probably live as a minister. But he's been keeping like the
Shortly before I down in
Hello, this is a prepaid call. An inmate at the accept this call.
I wanted to make sure you heard our birthday wishes for you last time we talked.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Good.
I got my, well, I mean, first thing, top story, right? years for breaking a window and 18 years for being there.
Yeah.
Basically. It's insane. I got my PSR back. I got that today, and I wanted it to be very, very clear that I got it today because I talked to my lawyer, and I didn't know it before, and my decision still hasn't changed that I was in absolute duress. You know, I'm not. This is crazy. I got it back, and they said it's 35 points, so it's like 168 to 220. Again, still saying to play back the interrogation when Ben Fulp offered me bail immediately and actually rereading it or re-listening to it. Basically, cooperate and you might not even see any charges. Because we haven't charged you yet with anything.
Mine now,
Yourself in the mirror, not like I do anything anyway, but you gotta look yourself in the mirror every day. But yeah, day night Tuesday. You know, then I got 45 days from my lawyer. Like, this is crazy. We told the judge about discovery did not follow. April of 22, rather. About only the first, when Chansley got one, immediately, and he had a diet that was by choice. You know, this scum.
And that's why used as the pawns
Yep.
to make this whole thing something that it's not.
And you know, we're still
The
seeing
whole
that.
thing is that if there was a protest, even if there was, I don't know what they're trying to say, but let's say there was a planned protest at the Capitol, right? Okay, which there were several planned protests.
Okay.
Well, why then was or a police officer cutting the rope that says police, you know, that's being cut?
They had that on
I
day one.
heard video. It's somewhere, I'm sure. A million people, either FBI or Secret Service. Well, there's nothing planned. I said, you guys are out of your mind. I said, you guys are smarter than that. I said, there's planned protests here, right? So what? You don't think that? Oh, then you're breaking the law. I said, so that's your deterrent? I said, where's the fencing? This is, you know, up at the GW Memorial. So those are the things that I want to get out. But you know, there's a lot of stuff's going to come out soon. Hopefully, you know, with Trump being.
Gonna be public. They got
Stuff's
cameras in
gonna.
the room.
What's that?
They're good. Apparently, it's been approved to have cameras in the courtroom for Trump's trial.
So it's gonna
Yeah,
be
down in
televised.
Georgia, right?
Right.
Approved cameras for all of them, really. But this whole thing is crazy. I've been telling this that it's getting worse and worse and worse, and that this was only, you know, this is what we saw this coming. 100% we saw this coming prior to January 6th. We didn't think it was going to be as bad as quick. We didn't think it was going to be as bad as quick, but hold on one second. Hey, here. Jump on this. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. And Give, Send, Go is Bravo Kilo.
Talk to you soon.
Guys, thank you. I gotta go grab my tray. I gotta go sign for it.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
So I was recently asked if we have any information regarding what actually took place here, and I thought about it before I answered. I thought, okay, so we've got thereabouts that we've done right here, right? Which point? My point is that somebody. How much detail we have? We got interviews with these guys on the phone, live interviews. We got quite a bit of information with it, and it's like you were saying, it's going to become proof.
It is. I believe it because it's. I mean, again, over time is you know. That's a very powerful legal argument. It's what I've been saying all along.
Yeah. Kilo.
Yeah, we might have to pull it off of the video. But that was at it's 8 o'clock, so that would be 1 hour into the. Yeah.
For fraudulent, my Why isn't this one fired?
I can answer that. It's actually more insidious than that. So when you're talking about the bureaucracies at the state and
I mean, it took a while.
Nobody wants to shake that off of the apple cart.
It took a long time for the TC. And I'm thinking, you know what? Everybody up over here is sitting on the butts, just letting everything happen, because they don't want to rock the boat because of the good old boy club. And who knows all of these involved now.
Well, because I think we need to have a good turnout again, because that's exactly what they're hoping, is that this just kind of
why is English not been dismissed for what's been happening?
Not just English. Oh.
Well, I'm talking about,
yeah.
And another thing is, English and Lewis should not be in the money to take Paul's place. But who's, you know what I'm saying? Those two so, you know, they keep going up. So
dynamics are a little bit more complicated.
So do the boards, the counties that feed into this have a say on who the new superintendent is? Or,
absolutely,
or
they do.
They just promote
they all have. So all 4 counties have to approve in it. So they'll go harumph on whatever somebody suggests.
Because they don't want to rock the boat because they're neighbors and
They're bureaucracies,
friends and Christian buddies and
yes.
Buddies, yes.
Eugenia Youngkin has appointed another person to oversee the jail.
Hello. Sticking it out there, huh?
Yeah, we're still out here. It's a beautiful evening. We got a nice group of folks here.
Good. Nice. Now, this is disappointed, and just because of this. Is everyone doing well? When they just feel like strange about people being, they're at my job again, doing this stuff, doing the flag with, and some of them you can tell appreciate it, and the others that don't make for good conversation because they're pretty funny. Things that they're acting out and being triggered and things like that. It's the truth, man. It was a funny thing. I for a short period of time I had a YouTube channel. And I got monetized because of a few of my videos, and I was like, awesome, Mom, I get paid to do this. Well, about 2 weeks into it, I got 3 strikes in one day, and I don't even speak on the channel. It's just a compilation of all the people, mostly negative, but some positive interactions I've had with people and some of their behaviors, just throwing coffee on the car or breaking the windows or things like that. But, yeah, so YouTube has a very strong, but YouTube, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was distracted. You go ahead.
Oh, it's all good. Oh no, I was just saying that I used to record them, folks acting crazy around the car. That was, I had all the Trump signs and flags and things, and so I made a YouTube channel from my experiences with that. And my point was that it really didn't last very long, but it paid for one of the trips from the East Coast to the West Coast, so that was good. That was good.
That is good.
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
We were just talking about YouTube and being careful with some of the things that we're talking about. So far, we've been fortunate. We haven't had any problems.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some bad news for not just me, but this affects everyone that was involved in the Toronto thing, or whatever we want to call it, and where he stabbed somebody, and it was ridiculous. But anyway, it was reported to the prosecutors in our cases, or it's disseminated and there's an immediate backlash from, well, number one, some of our own supporters who didn't understand the situation. They were only hearing one side, and I've gotten a lot of apology letters since then, I'll say that, but there's a point I was going to make about that, Tom, and it slipped me.
That's all right.
It's
It
okay,
happens to all of us.
I hear you guys. This is so cool. What was it? Oh, yeah. So evidently this is information that will go before the judge. They will be able to review it. It doesn't count for any points. It just discusses behavior. Tom, you got folks, we were doing a town hall, and, I don't even know if I can even talk about that. That's the crazy thing, because it may come up in court. My attorney said not to worry, but he wanted me to be prepared. And I was, the way it was explained by my attorney was like, oh, it's the fight. I'm like, what fight? I didn't get any fight. So it all will work itself out, I think.
Yeah.
So enough of... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, pretty tough news coming out today with some of the sentences coming down. So, and we got a lot of noise in the background. We got a siren going by.
It's all good. Yeah, there's definitely some frustrations with that. But what we all try to do, and just make light of whatever we can. And it's somber when you're in your cell by yourself. That's one of the ways they cope. And, these are strong leaders that I can't wait to return to society and see what great things they'll be able to accomplish in the future. But with everything else going on politically,
Yeah, that's for sure. And I do think you guys need to keep the faith, because this country, things are turning around. I think people are waking up, and I believe that we're going to get the president back that we want, and I think that's going to make a big difference. So it's going to make a big difference for everybody's lives.
It will, absolutely. And that's one of the experience, and he got assigned to politics through his experience at the White House. Nobody in my lifetime, and maybe very well in the last several generations, has never seen a president like Trump, and that's why we love him. That's why we like him, because he's not a part of the establishment. And when you see how deep the swamp is, I'm talking about like Senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, horrible person, horrible. Pence, I always looked at Pence, especially through the pandemic, as a born-again Christian. I genuinely believe that. And I don't know. He's not talking to the God that I...
Yeah.
These guys need to keep their chin up, because and they need to understand that this is a scripted show.
That's right.
Just because you get a set tomorrow, it's scripted.
Right.
And so you get past somebody doing something that seems like it's really hostile. You are going to still be in there for another week, another month, whatever the case may be. But faith, because there is.
I don't know if you could recognize his voice or not, but I think that.
Have a role to play, and I believe we have, as Northern Neck Patriots, have a role to play, and you guys as J6ers have a role to play.
And that's hanging in
when
there.
we all get together at the end of this journey, we will all celebrate together.
Mm-hmm. Part, that's one of those things that the Lord has blessed me. Just meeting some of you, and not our own emotions or whatever.
What I would add to that is, can be the better your weapon is. Responsibility is to remain resilient.
Give up.
Don't give up.
Never.
Inside in the Civil War, I don't want to see a repeat. Are waking up, and it's very important to project the truth. It just speaks the truth. That's all we can do.
Yep, agreed. What is that saying?
Stronger than the sword, but that's just part of this month. And so,
For a minute.
You guys you're the pointy tip of the spear. Yeah, there's a lot going on here that's going to happen. So,
Not to everybody.
my defense attorney are from Scotland now.
Yeah, interesting.
We were talking to the gentleman and the other woman. Good microphone you got there.
Good. Yeah.
For our fellow J6ers. Everyone has I forget the name of it, leave a word of praise, like in the Bible, AFO. And they are so uplifting.
Good to know, too. You had electronically, or do you actually still do
Surprising to me.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So we get the original copy. It's not photocopied. The hand.
You have 1 minute remaining.
For DC, we're allowed reading cards. When you get the
Final countdown.
Yep.
Scooter's been listening in. Scooter, do you have anything to say hello to the Democratic Patriots? I was just hiding being silent. Yeah, I gotta do it. Still being out there. Hopefully they tear it down.
We can make some changes below.
Hang in there.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everybody.
That was John Munifo, obviously. You picked it out right away, but it was so hard to hear, I couldn't quite tell.
Who's the other one?
he's the guy that sounds
Scooter, that's Tamara's husband, who's been the guy that's been helping to kind of organize and get these guys to call us.
How did he spell his last name?
Munafo. Munafo.
Jonathan, M-U-N-A-F-O.
Yeah. Next week, and let's pass them around and sign them, especially as these guys are getting close to their sentencing dates.
See their last cards, but once you get them, they just post in there.
You said one got 10 years for breaking a window and the other got 18 years for being present.
Being there, yeah.
Being present. Which
yeah,
is
it's
someone with a brain in the White House in the next election. Can he overturn all these false criminal charges?
Absolutely.
Can he go after the true insurrectionists? Can he go after the true
Yes.
terrorists to our country? That's what I feel, Gordon. That's what I feel. Those are the J6ers. That's what I'm saying. Don't give up when they give you a sentence. Don't.
Because, he seems very optimistic, but at the same time, he's looking at the sentencing guidelines that they're talking about.
Yeah, he's looking. Because that's what they want to do. Give you hope and then.
that this is all
The game's for them.
regardless of the players and the stuff. Yeah. What happens? Everybody starts to go back to a normal life. What happens? You know what I'm saying? I don't want things to go to normal and turn around.
Well, that's why we're here. I mean,
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
why we committed to being here, is because we know flashy trials or, high-profile trials and things that they are giving these sentences. That's just the beginning of it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the general public looks at that.
Yeah, we can't let that happen.
I can't do that.
Remember, these guys are the perfect example of what our government is willing to do to individual citizens in this country for their own purposes. They don't care about what's right or wrong or what that individual did or didn't do.
That's so disgusting.
They're arresting people every single day. I mean, more and more are still being arrested.
You have a chance to look that one yet? NPR, National Public Radio, they have a review 6. They update it weekly, and at the very top, they give you all the statistics, the total number of people arrested, the average sentences, that kind of stuff. But then they put any new updates, like recent arrests or people that have had recent activity in their trials or sentencing.
Okay.
They come to the top of the list. Yeah, it's bunch of that. Yeah. So it's no man left behind. What are you doing over there, sir? This situation, see, so one of the diseases we have in this country, and NNRJ is a classic example of bureaucracy. You get human beings wagons around one guy because that's the way they've always done it. And that's part of the problem. That was what we had back in Nuremberg. We had somebody that I was just doing my job. I was doing what I was told. And it's going to be either of the two. I believe so.
Yeah,
she's
the next
assistant.
one in charge, and she, in my opinion, none of them should be.
Now, I wonder if she knows what's going on.
She has to because she. Right. And to me, she's just as guilty as.
She's not saying anything.
She's second in charge.
No.
For the effect. And that's a cover-up. Didn't know what was going on.
So that one's a tough nut. I've been doing through that just generically. Are there people here that would be totally unaware of what was going on? Where? Here. They would be totally unaware of what's been going on. They had no idea that stuff was happening when it was happening. Again, I'm missing what that stuff is.
We're talking about Michelle Lewis possibly take. There's no way you can tell me that she didn't know what's been going on in this facility or how many years she's worked in the position that she's in.
Okay.
You can't tell me she didn't know what was been going on. So she should be held guilty. Like in the military, can't the commander of a ship, he's in charge of the ship, right? If somebody loses something like a weapon, isn't he going to be going down with the ship too?
Pretty much, that's where that came
And
from.
possibly the CO?
Yeah.
So this should be the same thing here.
One would hope.
But we need to fight that the corruption needs to end. And whoever takes this place should not be promoted with him.
So that gets still anybody, just generically speaking, that would not know about the corruption that's been taking place and yet still show up every day for it. Or anybody in here.
You can talk about education director. I don't think she would know this.
Oh, they're just flying all over.
Yes.
I anticipate.
I guess my question is, they have a committee to put feelers out before the position, or is this automatically just you promote within?
In a situation like this, they would normally promote from within. That's their first documentation on this one. They have a hell of a time finding it, which is also part of the problem. The turnover here is horrendous, and the reasons for the turnover are not simple. Some of it's there's bad shit going on, people just don't want to be around for it. So there are people that see it, but then there's just, it doesn't pay enough.
humanity seems to work. Is what I'm going for. I'm just not giving any relief for anybody. But, there are people that have come through here and left in less than a month because it's just that bad.
Right.
There's other people that don't leave, even though it's that bad. And
Like the one that's in charge right now.
John mentioned either last week or the week before, he says that's how they filter it. The ones that stay are the ones that build the corruption.
Exactly. The bad ones stay, the good ones get out of Dodge.
Right. So eventually you end up with an entire house that's just corrupt.
Remember that movie I told you about? What's that?
Not yet. I think, did you order it?
No, this is a Linux.
Oh, okay.
You have to get off VPN and
Well, basically what it was manipulation and mind control from basically convincing people of things slowly to the point that where they could convince a person to push somebody off of the building because that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
It's a demo on any other creature on this planet. So you get a human being that goes into here, he's got bills to pay. If he stays,
It's like they take once they get up there, they take this pill and it
just melts away.
Right.
All their virtue is gone. Actually,
I didn't get a and Ron and I got back to
that one right there.
Oh, yeah, I got
October
it.
4.
Yeah.
Can't see it, so but October 4th is a 1,000th day.
Only
So
in
it's
bright
October
blue.
4th, and so I thought, let's see.
I
So
took
we're
about
gonna make a
this a lot.
T-shirt.
So it's October 1st,
guys-
the 4th,
It's
when this
it's
vigil
a,
started?
yeah,
there
it's a,
and not
it's
doing
a,
what the
on
young
October
people
4th is the
do.
day that the vigil started.
Did he
That
get
is-
sentenced?
that
Is that
is-
why he got sentenced?
That's what I
Board,
heard.
it's a board
That's
meeting.
what I heard. I don't know.
So after that,
But
after the board
if
meeting,
they can resist that is a
That
weapon.
sentence doesn't.
Yeah.
That's my goal anyway.
So it's
right. So
it just aggravates me to know it. This is just leading up to the Civil War. Our senators and congressmen
I'm not.
at one point actually began to fight.
No, because. Do you think this is also part of their ploy to try and get us to get into the Civil War? If we oppress our
In
people.
fact, I think it's going to better because so many of the things that have been happening are so blatantly in your face, anti-American.
Yes.
It's like, you know, before 2015, we all were. Now all of a sudden, this is an in-your-face operation.
Right. So what's going on?
So it's a significant change in tactics, and it's all
I know you replied, but
clearly
that's the
psychological because we're going to get totally pissed off about all this crap. Because the frog in the frying pan
Right.
approach, and I don't know if y'all know
With
what I'm
boiling
talking about.
water. I know what you're
Where
talking
you
about.
just slowly warm it up, and eventually he dies because he never bothered.
Out immediately.
Now they turned it up fast. This will sound really strange, but I think I know.
Demoralizing as well?
Yes, the demoralization is. I think the end goal, this sounds really weird, is literally to wake everybody up so that this crap never ever happens again. Because you know what's happening is a double-edged sword. It's like on the one hand we got to stop it.
If it takes that, or to speak.
attorney, and he's going to be saying,
He basically said we don't have years.
Yeah. So, and the other part is that our generation is the only one that can do it. Our kids.
That's what I'm thinking.
So the reason that all they've ever known is the screens. Spell computer. Much technology came along, and we're the only. Honestly, we also created this problem. Some of it because we have having a good time.
you ever go into a restaurant, you see two people sitting
They're on their phone.
The whole family,
each other,
the whole family.
So
On the phone.
it's our generation that is really stuck with it, and when our generation is gone, if we haven't won by then, it's over.
And they don't even know it.
No, they don't.
Yeah, my
They're
kids have-
clueless.
My kids
Yes.
have no
Ignorance
idea.
is bliss. You gotta
Hey,
give them that.
I talked to my mother, and the was not going right.
That's it. If
And-
something's
and-
wrong,
How often we did it. Her and I were sitting at my dinner table. We were having a and I said, you know, it was us that blew that pipeline up. And she said, what do we benefit from that?
How many times I got sent to my room, or she got, one of us was always in a room because I'm not sure. So I say something and they pop up and
they're silenced a lot, huh?
It gets right. About your friends and family.
That's what frustrates me. The Republicans don't fight.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
because
you.
you're looking in the wrong place for them. He will fall left. It's amazing.
all
But
this stuff. That's all just
Mike Pompeo this off with Democrats to go off, and this guy went over Taiwan 2 weeks before.
I know, what a coincidence.
What's up with that? So that's what I'm saying. You don't. Like
No.
who the enemy is.
Oh, just
But
how
you-
deep. I just want to.
The World War I and World War II, those wars went on for years, and you didn't even have food. You know, so on the physical needs perspective, this isn't quite that bad, but the psychological part of this, they've been. It's like seeds that have planted for 4 years, you won't be able to uproot. So we've got a real problem on our hands because regardless, there's not going to be a day where there's going to be a DJ day where everybody wants to sit in front of the room. That day ain't going to happen.
Not going to happen now.
It's things are going to back off, and they're going to continue, because there's evidence that they need to continue until there isn't evidence, and there's so many different facets of that. There's going to be like 1,000 different channels that everybody's going to continue until it's all fixed. And even then, because it's not synchronized, we're not going to know that it's over. There's not going to be this day where
Yay,
somebody
victory.
declares
There's no
victory, and
victory.
that's not going to
It's
happen
just a grad.
overnight, so it's not going to go away. That's the ugly truth of it, man. It needs to be done by the time we're all gone.
calm down, Cheryl. She's going to bed. My sister still want to talk to you, like my rest of my family. I need to have some
So
family
you're
member to
passionate.
talk
Just
to
tell them
me,
you're
right?
passionate. But they
Well, they still think I'm nuts. They still think I'm
Follow your heart, do what's right. That's all you're going to do.
hopefully this will come out and say, oh, you were right. You know, like
It'd
they
be
say, the
nice to get
vindication.
some
So
vindication.
on that part about being vindicated, so a friend of ours got diagnosed a few months ago, stage 4 cancer, and it was in his colon and his liver and his pancreas and everything. We're like,
Not pancreas.
It wasn't in the pancreas? Yeah, I know there's another place where it was.
Just liver and colon.
That's it?
Well, it started in the colon, went to his liver. Go ahead. Stage 4.
Stage 4.
Done.
And we're like, you know,
This is March
you
17th.
need to try some ivermectin with this stuff. And his wife says, I mean, attention to science, I've never seen
Any
a
scientific
scientific
article.
document at all. You're yeah. So
That was another time when
you need
I
to try this. So I gave her scientific research peer. Got her husband, who's a geek like me, slightly different. So,
Get to the point.
I'm going to try this. Numbers started going.
He's on a trial thing for this is the same medicine as ivermectin.
Oh, wow.
So
Same road, same pig, different blankets.
just amazing.
So why did the doctor do that to begin with?
Well, because now it's approved.
Just from the doctor's perspective, it was a trial.
What? All at stage 4? Who cares what it is?
You're going to die if you don't do anything, or you're going
Exactly.
to die if you do
Look
something.
at the numbers.
That's what
It
they
went
found
from
out.
6,772 to 82.
Oh my God.
Whatever's in that blood.
COVID
It went
took
from
ivermectin, and I
6,772.
told my my family doctor, and you could tell the expression. Like, and the first question was, where did you get it?
Yeah. How did you get your hands on it? They
I
don't
said frontline doctors.
There you
But
go.
it went, his numbers, this is his blood. It went
Wow.
from
Yeah,
6,772
so back in
in 4 months.
late 19, early
It's
2000,
almost gone in his
there was
colon and
a
liver.
group of doctors
How did
came
I
out.
don't know.
In fact, one day they were standing on the steps of the Capitol
So
talking to the general public out there on the street about what was going on and saying, you can't do this.
But
It's
now
all
they're
wrong.
already
You're
saying,
being
oh,
lied to.
October the
And
country will just shut down.
that group of doctors became known as
Oh, how do you know that? It's not even here yet.
So does the ivermectin actually cure it, or is it just a Band-Aid for that strain?
So, ivermectin is
Is it antiviral?
It's an anti-parasitic. But here's the thing that people haven't grasped for so many years about cancer. A cancer, there's different types of cancer, but
Right.
there's some that form a tumor that gains its own circulatory system.
This is
That is, by definition, a parasite. It tends to kill those kinds of cancers. Doesn't kill all cancer, but
That's
it's
a
because
good drug.
Do y'all know any? I know there
how
are
do you
doctors
get it?
now that will
Because I have those.
so
that will prescribe it.
if you absolutely have to have some today, you can go buy it in toothpaste tubes up there at Tractor Supply for you.
Well, I didn't get it from that. I got it from,
See, mine came from a pharmacy down in Alabama.
Ours came from a pharmacy, Zero Bottle.
I
But
have
I do know that some doctors, now that Northam is gone, the CDC says, yeah, you can do it. I know that some doctors will prescribe it. It's just finding it and finding the pharmacy that will fill it. I know there was one in Mechanicsville that will.
Well, it's still, I still get it out of the country, so.
You did that
Canada?
for what?
Out of country. Mexico. Mexico's interesting you brought that up. Ivermectin and HCQ. You land at Mexico City Airport. They got that stuff in the vending machines right there in the airport.
I believe Colonial Pharmacy in Mechanicsville will, if you need a prescription for
Well,
it, will fill it.
this was a 2 years ago, a year ago, I thought. So I don't know where you can buy it now, but
I mean, but the thing is,
it was $1.16.
Of course it is. They could do it. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
So yeah, that's
It was
that's something.
$1.60 a test. Okay. That was my doctor.
On both sides of this argument, that still
Liver
exists.
test.
or was it made up to facilitate the injection of the vaccine? It kills 35 to 65,000 Americans every year. And all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, they dropped to 1,800 would have been dead by the flu. And they blamed it on COVID. And then I found out that in Virginia, it didn't have COVID, and you die in that hospital from the protocols. That hospital makes $241,000. That's just insane.
And then they sing it.
Yeah, that's evil. That's just evil. I saw a whole chart of that stuff from one of those doctor organizations. I think it might have been. What's his name? Malone. Captain Malone and his partner there. He's amazing.
Well, they're pushing the masks again. They're pushing the fear of Mystery X disease.
Right, and they got the new booster coming out, right?
Right.
Isn't that what they said?
Right, not total.
I'm glad to do
Good for
that.
him. What do you got to do?
Damn it, Dr.
The
Dammer.
thing is just so aggravating because, you know, the CDC, because all these fires that are going on, said masks won't help you with the smoke. And some genius went out there and got a diagram that mapped the size of smoke particles and the size of bacteria and the size of a smoke particle is going to be protected if you wear a mask. They're so full of crap.
And now they're saying the N95 masks have all these chemicals in it, and now that people are getting sick from it.
Right.
Thinking about taking the vaccine. Neither did I. Sure, not never been tested, never been infected. And the sad part about this, that is it. I know from my life's education, it's just
The new big thing. I don't know it's for adults too. Florida had not adulthood, but now they've come up with a vaccine that's coming out, and they want the adults to take it.
all I can say is from like December of 2019 forward, I will never touch another vaccine. Ever. And I don't care what they say about it, it's a lie.
And I've had friends that had the shingles vaccine.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I've had friends that didn't have the vaccine, they had shingles, and then I've had friends that got the vaccine and still ended up with shingles.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught it, but go ahead.
Are we allowed to talk about COVID and stuff like that?
Oh, I don't know, but
Oh, no,
Dr. Sheila Fury's coming to our meeting in October. Also, Dr. Sheila Fury,
Okay.
the president of VAMFA, Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance.
Okay.
And she's amazing. She's a childhood psychologist. Ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine to people that want it.
Did she lose her license?
No.
Oh, okay. Since a
Pretty
couple
sure.
doctors have lost the state to
Dr. Paul Merrick, I think,
We lost this.
he was. His privilege is gone. They didn't take his license. Well, I think we made it almost to 2 minutes to go.
I got this song here, and if I haven't already tried to start it, it might actually play.
starting to feel like fallout.
I know.
Don't get used to it, because day after
I know we got a
tomorrow,
heat
it's
wave
gonna
coming
be
in
ugly.
Monday.
It's gonna be ugly.
What's your plan, Trace?
If it plays, that.
That'll work.
And it doesn't need a network connection. They come out with a bag of
it might be. Is it a play?
Now I know what's going on.
Bear with me. Just bear with me.
No, it's not the volume, it's my phone. At 9 o'clock it goes into school for me. Why wasn't I thinking of that? No?
That's right. I do.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
USA! USA! USA!
USA!
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for thinking of the do not disturb sign.
I've tried to play it several times and I never could figure out why it would go